Hey everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and oh my word, the flus this year are just horrible. I'm finding that there is a lot more flus happening. So many people are sick and it's just brutal. I mean, I think a lot of you can really agree with me that this year has been brutal with the flus. So what I've been noticing is that it's really attacking the throat with sore throats, coughs, runny eyes, heavy fatigue, lots of sinus issues, like plugged up noses, just your head feeling big, muscle aches, and so forth and so on. And if you got some other underlying problem, of course, that also gets accentuated with these influenza, and it's just nasty. So with everyone coming off of Christmas, heading to work, and you are just recovering from it, you get this tickle. Oh my word, the tickle in your throat. And you don't want to cough, but you need to cough. And then if you do cough, you can't stop coughing. Who's been there? Exactly. And it happens at the worst time. Like you're in a line for a grocery store, or you need to talk to someone, or you're talking on the phone and you're okay, do you want to stop this conversation like right now because you're about to have a cough attack? So I find two things to be useful. So one, I find that when I'm around the house, I take my thermos, and my thermos holds 2 cups of water. I heat that water up to 60, 70 degrees Celsius, and then I add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and I sip that throughout my day. That really helps to calm my throat. It also boosts immunity because it levels out my pH, and when my pH is really leveled out where it needs to be, then viruses have a hard time sticking around. So that's one thing you can do. But when you're on a job, you can't just always have a thermos beside you, especially if you don't got an office job. So what we're going to make today is cough drops, and these cough drops consist of 2 ingredients. So much healthier than store-bought ones, and so easy to make. We're not going to use special thermometers or any equipment that you don't already have at home. And if there's something that I am using special, I will mention something that you can use that most people have kicking around your house. So one is honey. I am going to be using 1 cup to 1.5 cups of honey. You do not have to be exact while you're measuring. This is so forgiving. If you don't even have a cup of honey, you can even use 1/2 cup of honey. Like, use that. I'm going to be using cup and a half. This is the honey I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to be adding peppermint essential oil to it. So I'm going to be just adding some drops here. Now, make sure you're using essential oils that you can be used for internal use. These are normally higher quality essential oils. Make sure it says for internal use as well as external. Mine says that right here where I got a piece of tape. Now, if you're wondering why I have a piece of tape on here, is because in my essential oil cabinet, all the working essential oils all have tape on it because I always have backup so I never run out. And that tells my 6 kids and my husband that this is the essential oil one that we are using. Don't touch the other ones if they don't got tape on them. So we're going to be using this, and I choose peppermint for a couple of reasons. Peppermint opens up the airways. So it opens things up, opens up your nose, lets you breathe easier. And that's really important when we're fighting these respiratory influenzas. It also has a cooling effect. If you ever put peppermint on, let's say, somewhere on your skin, it cools it down. And that's what it's doing. It's cooling down your throat and causing that tingle to subside. It's kind of icing it, if you think about it like that. So that is really important. And peppermint smells good. So if you're working close by people, who doesn't like the smell of peppermint? It's great. So it also freshens up your breath, and it, you know what, wards off fatigue. So if you are fighting this influenza and you're getting tired, but you are working and you just can't lie down to go to sleep, Soothe one of these cough drops instead of taking an energy drink or something like that that's only going to suppress your immune system. So there's a lot of benefits and a lot of reason why I'm going to be picking peppermint. Now, if you're like, I'm not a peppermint gal or guy, well, you know what? You can also make these with fresh lemon juice, fresh ginger juice. You can put a couple of tablespoons of each in, mix it up with the honey. You can make a favorite tea, use some of the tea liquid, put it in there, or pick a different essential oil. If you want, oregano will give it a good kick, or any other essential oil. Just make sure that the essential oil is for internal use. Do not use any essential oil that's not for internal use. Head to the stove. I'm also a cookbook author of Everything Stevia Cookbook and Everything Whole Wheat Sourdough Cookbook. These are on the website. Definitely get way more information about them on there. And then there's links to Amazon if you would like to order. There's other works of mine as well. Also, my 13-year-old Grace, she is a crocheter and loves it, and she has started her business over her last 6 months, where she is crocheting catnip cat toys and other stuffies. So if you really want something crocheted, she takes special orders as well, and we can ship them worldwide. So definitely check that out. Her business name is Creative Crocheting. So she has a Facebook page, and I also put a page on the website so you can see her works and order right off of the web page. So once again, you can head to everything-homemade.com. So the very first thing you want to do is turn on your element to medium heat, and I'm going to add in the honey here. My honey here is not liquid, so it's going to take a moment to melt. So there we go. So we're going to get that melting. So as we wait for this to melt, I have two forms here. One, you can make these cough drops and put the finished product into here, which makes really cute cough drops. I've got little bears and paws and hippos and lions. It's just fun. It's not necessary though, but I have these already at the house because I do a lot of homemade chocolates. I do a lot of things for the kids' birthdays and stuff like that. So I have a bit of a collection, I guess you can say. So I picked these ones out because they're kind of the nice size and they're perfect for this, and the kids like them. The other thing, if you don't have that though, you can definitely use just like a silicone sheet, just like this, and just put them on here. They'll be just in little circles, and that's just fine. If you don't have either of these, you can just use parchment paper, and we can just put them on there, and that'll work just as well. So this is looking really good. The honey is mostly melted. So now we're going to just bump up that heat a bit. You can do kind of medium low, medium high, whatever you're comfortable with. But what we want to have here is a light simmer, and just the honey to slightly change in color is what we're looking for. We're also going to do a test here. I have just a small little container here with some cold water. What we're going to do when we think it's ready, we're going to use a teaspoon here. We're going to dip it in, put a little test in here, and if it goes solid in here the way we want it, then we're ready here. The key is not to have this totally be like a dark caramel color, because then it doesn't taste like a nice honey cough drop. The taste kind of goes more to a overcooked kind of a flavor, and we do not want that. So you don't want to walk away from this when you start doing it, because it actually goes fairly fast once it reaches a simmer. So as I'm waiting here for that to happen, I got my essential oil here ready to go. I'm actually not going to put this in right away. It's the same concept as with herbs. When you are making a soup, you add in the herbs at the last minute, because otherwise the herbs just get overcooked and you don't really taste them anymore. They don't have that vibrant flavor to them. And same with the essential oil. If I put this in right now and let it simmer with and and let the honey simmer, the flavor is actually going to start disappearing. So I'm going to add that in a little bit later, just so you know I have not forgotten about it. Okay, now we are starting to simmer. You can see that here. Keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. This part goes really quick. I'm just stopping here just to show you that yes, it's still at a simmer. Once it starts to rise, like the mixture will actually start to rise, that's when we're basically going to add in our essential oils. And you can see that right here. So I'm going to cut that heat down to really low. I'm going to stop for a moment, switch hands, and add in 15 to 20 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And it's gonna kind of smoke a little bit. That's okay. Take it off. And now what we want to do is we're gonna do a test. I'm just gonna grab some here, and I'm just gonna put my pot on a different hot plate for the moment so I don't overcook it or anything. And I'm going to put that in there, and you can see how it kind of just spread out. Not quite ready. You can see that it doesn't hold its shape. So I'm going to put it back here, and I'm going to just bump up the heat a little bit again, and it just needs to go a little bit more. There we go. Just a little bit more. I'm going to just lift it up a little bit. So what we're doing is taking some of the water out, but I don't want to over cook it either. Lift it up a little bit. See how the color's changed a bit? Okay, let's do another test. I'm just going to grab this. I'm just watching the mixture here, putting it in the hot water. Let that, see what happens here in a moment. Smells really nice. Check that mixture, not quite yet. It's kind of a little bit of a back and forth game. We've got nice color here. Okay, let's do another test here. Off the hot plate, got this, put it in the cold water. Give it a moment, and it's starting to come together. You can see that when I'm moving it around, the honey comes together. Okay, we're basically almost ready. So I'll get it to come to a boil one more time. And this is the color you want. You see that rich, nice color? There we go. Okay, that's looking really good. So now you kind of give it a nice smell, and you can smell the peppermint still. It's perfect. Let's take it and pour it into our mold. And don't forget to turn off the hot plate. So now with this here, I'm going to pour it into my molds here. just with my pot. Now you can definitely do this with a spoon if you like, but I just like to pour it really carefully. So let's do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of pour it like that. Then what I'm going to take is a spatula, and I'm just gonna move it around so it gets into all the molds. There you go. Just like that. Just going to set them aside in a bowl. I'm going to add a little more here. Okay, that's looking really good. Now the extra here that's on top, you can pour it. Ouch, watch out, this honey's hot. Woo! I just touched my finger on a drop here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it and put a little bit of drops here on my pad here, or on my silicone sheet here. And make a cough drop there, and make a cough drop right there. And we can break that in half after. Okay, so I just kind of took it off to the side here because, well, I can, and I can break this apart after. But what I'm going to show you here, if you don't have one of these molds, you can just take a spoon and take some of your mixture here, just a little bit. You're basically going to make drops out of it. So there's one, there's another one, and another one. Just keep going down like this, however big you want to go. Remember, you can do this on a wax paper. Okay, something like that. And what I'm going to do is the rest of this honey here, I am just going to fill the rest of this mold here. Alright, so now that this part is done, you can just leave these on the counter to cool off. You can put them on the fridge to cool them down faster, and then we'll pop them out. So I'm going to just put mine in the fridge so it goes just a little bit faster. Okay, I'm about 15 minutes later and they are ready to get popped out. So take a look at this. This is the one that I did as a test, but this is how they should pop out, and they're a little bit sticky, and that's okay. So I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to just show you one that I haven't popped out. So just pop out really simply like that. And then I just set them aside. And I'll show you what we're going to do and how to store these right away. And so let's just go ahead and just kind of pop these out. Now I know some people take these cough drops a little further so they aren't as sticky, but I don't like that just because, I don't know, the flavor just, you lose that nice honey flavor. So personal preference, I guess. Just kind of pop these babies out. And you can see too here on the silicone, sheet here, they just pop right off as well. So they make nice little cough drops. So now I'm going to grab a bowl and I'm going to show you with these here that have already popped out what to do to prevent them from sticking for longer term storage. I'm going to use some arrowroot right here. Some people use cornstarch, cinnamon powder, icing sugar, whatever other kind of powders to prevent them from sticking. So I'm just going to put a little bit of arrowroot into my bowl here. And I'm just going to put these cough drops in here. Now what's going to happen is that they're going to get coated. See that? And that prevents them from sticking to each other. And when you put this in your mouth, that arrowroot dissolves so fast that you don't even notice it that much. The sweetness of the honey and the peppermint takes over. There you go. Okay, so same with these ones on your silicone pad here. Just pop them off and put them in here and coat them up. So they'll look like that. And in all honesty, it's just a little bit of powder, not that much on there. And then what I do after, so I grab a smaller container here, and then I just scoop these ones in. Even if it has a little bit of powder, that's just fine. And I just start putting them into a container and I store them in the fridge. So they stay nice and firm. And then when you need to have one, they're right there, ready to go. And they last a long time in the fridge. And you can have them in the office or you can take them with you. If I would take them with me, I would wrap each one. Let's say take 2 or 3, I would wrap them with a little bit of parchment paper just to make sure that they don't stick to anything, and you're good to go. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll show you how it looks when it's all done. Okay, so I got the last few to go in to my container and we are done. And so what I like to do is just take a little bit of extra powder here, sprinkle it on top, get my hand there, kind of put it through. And now, like I said, I'm gonna store these. Like I said, I'm gonna store these now in the fridge just to keep them hard. And just grab one when you need it. And I'm gonna just wipe this side of my container because I kind of got arrowroot everywhere. That's the fun of this. And then you got natural cough drops for yourself, your significant other, your kids, and that are good for you. Remember to subscribe and check out the website, and I'll see you on the next video.